guys, part 2 of my oil pot. A lot of short spells, but actually several other operations in the end, but it's come out fairly good. A little bit more polishing to be done, I think. Anyway, there's not much need for an intro here. I haven't tried yet, but I went to Jodie's site and got a stubby lens kit. I look forward to trying that out, and it could be quite useful for confined spaces. Anyway, let's get on with part 2. I'll see you at the end briefly. Right. Well, welcome to part 2 of the oil pot. I thought I'd just deal with this bit of tube. I've shortened it slightly. You may remember in part 1 I realised I need to shorten it a bit, and I'm planning now to let it go to the bottom, or all but the bottom. So I'm going to do a bit like Lee did and put some slots in. I've just got a 1/4 inch extended end mill in here, and I'm going to take 3 cuts at 120 degrees and try and get top and bottom done together. The DRO is not registering. I must check that. I think a lead had come undone or something. Let's try again. I'll take a 130 cut, and I'm not going for super accuracy here. All I've done is, I haven't used a stop for this, I've just put a mark on the vice jaw. It really isn't super critical. Oh. Let's try there. Right, I'll get the other one done. Incidentally, you may have noticed that's a little bit of painter's tape. Because this end is slightly reduced in diameter, I had to add a little tape to get the collet to hold properly, because the main diameter is back here. So it's just a means to an end, just to get enough of a hold, and we'll get that deburred and cleaned up, and then I think it's lathe time again probably. Let's just get back to this piece. I just set that telescope gauge in there. My rough measurement was 2 3/4. Sorry, 1 3/4. I think it's just over. It's actually 2 thou over. So we've got to prepare a bed for the slug, and at the moment that slug, which is 1/2 inch thick, is let me think, 2058, slightly plus on what I was aiming for. So I've got a bit of leeway, but I'm going to actually enlarge here to a depth of about 3/8 and come out to 2050, and then we'll see where we are. So I've got a fair bit to do, and I'm going to take it slow. Probably get loads more damn chips. Let me just make a start. I'll just check this. Yeah, that's very close to 925 at the moment. So I've got another about a 62. Don't forget, incidentally, I always talk about what I'm taking off radius. I never talk about the whole reduction. I've got to reduce by 1/8 effectively. Don't you just love all these chips? Yeah. Alright, I've got some, this is just a steady job. Not taking big cuts. Try and home in on my final diameter. I'll come back in a bit. Right, we're just sneaked up on this. And I've just got to tidy up the back of that. Oh boy, that's hard on the ears, that is. Oh, aluminum squeak music. Okay, so I think I've just got to put a tiny chamfer on that. I'm not checking any more than this. We're just below 3/8, which is about where I wanted to be. And I think, because I left this slug on the back piece still glued on, it's possibly a tiny bit looser than I meant it to be, but there we are. One thing I find, I don't know whether other people do, I find when I'm using a snap gauge on here that when it's near the limit, which this one is, the spring pressure is less and it's harder to set it up. Anyway, I think I'll just put a tiny chamfer on there with a file. Only wants to be a minuscule amount. Yeah, it's a bit. I think I finished up a thou oversize. We'll get round that. We've got a large area for the Loctite, so I think that'll work out. So what's next? Alright, I got this off, heated it, got it off the back piece. Yeah, I did mean to have that a thou smaller, but there you are. Sometimes you miss the mark. So I'm going to put some Loctite on there and then give it some time to set. Right. I've been pretty liberal with the Loctite. So I'm putting it under pressure. I've got to leave it now. Give it a good time to bond. And we'll come back and turn all this off and hope the thing holds. See how we go. Right, because I snuck up on my dimension here just a little too much. It might have been a return spring cut, took a little bit more off. So this wasn't quite the tight fit I want. It's a good fit, but not quite as tight as I wanted. I'm just, what I'm doing here, sorry, I'm just setting up the drill to power the cross slide drill made by Terry. Let's have some proper light. This is the sort of back flange that I had. You can see there's still glue on here, and there's about, I'm trying to think altogether, there's quite a bit to machine off. Anyway, as a safety measure, I'm going to drill 3 holes, and I won't show you one because I might drop it. I'm going to drill 3 1/4-inch deep holes which will go through the outer wall and into the slug, and I've got some 2mm rivets. I've taken the heads off, so I've got this aluminum rivet body which I'm going to tap into those holes when done, and a bit of Loctite. It's only a precaution. I don't think this will let go. The Loctite's pretty damn strong, but because the bond is perhaps not as thin as it should be. Anyway, let's just try and get a hole here. Drill bit wasn't running quite true actually. I ought to re-chuck it. Anyway, all I'm doing is using the chuck jaws as a dividing 120 degree. It's approximate. So I'm going to finish this one off and do the other 2, and then try and tap these little guys in. Well, we've got these little buggers in. I don't know whether you can see one actually. You see that? Oh, I think so. Well, there's a lot of glare. Anyway, there's one here, one here, one here. So I'm going to leave this a bit longer, let things cure, and then we'll come back and start to take this lot down, and I'll take a very light safe cut on here to clean up, leaving perhaps a thou or two for a polish, just to blend those in hopefully. Just roughing off this end, literally roughing. Haven't got too far to go, so I won't bother you with all that till I get down to the last cut or 2. We got most of that removed. A load more chips. Wonderful. Yeah, this might be the last cut. We'll try it, take a slow feed, see if we can get a reasonable finish, and I'll polish that afterwards probably. Right, we've made it. So I think the next thing is, don't feel too bad, a bit of a polish will help. We've got to put a chamfer on there, but I've got to sort out what's left of these little pins. You can see I left myself a bit of surplus there to get off. So we'll do that soon when I've cooled off. Well, I've just lightly touched off on there because I want to take these little pegs down. Hopefully I won't disturb this end too much by the time I've finished and polished. Well, that's got them down flush, which is what I wanted. So we're going to put a chamfer on there. I'll do that in a minute. And we find some paper, get some polishing. These pins don't show too much. Right, I'm going to take this part way out. Because I want to polish a bit more. Looking for my scale here. Now that's 1.75 inches, 1.5 inches. I'm not going to put much force on this. It's just as long as it'll run true enough, 1.75 inches, because it's going to go back in the chuck the other way. Let me see if this will snug up just enough, then run some paper over it again. Where are we? Here we go. Oh, I'm going to get chips pouring out. No, it's just polish again. This is some very fine abrasive paste. Right, chips still pouring out of the chuck. Right, that's getting close. And fairly pleased with that. It brings up quite a high polish, and this paste I've found in the past seems to slow down oxidation. Right, I'm going to turn that round now. Now before I put this all the way in the chuck, I'm just short of it. I just want to be able to polish this end again slightly. Of course finger marks will show, but they'll wipe off later. So a little bit more clean up. Anyway, we've got the chips out, so we've got to put that tube in down the middle. We'll try and get that ready. Right, see if we can get this tube in. Alright, that's down almost to the bottom. I made a mark on there, about a 1/16 short of the bottom, so I didn't knock on that. And we got those, I forgot to show you again, we've got the 6 castellated reliefs on the bottom. So I'm going to let that sit just for a little while, then we'll machine that off, and we're getting closer to being done. I think that should have cured a bit. I haven't checked this for run out, but for this finishing stuff here, a little bit of error shouldn't matter. Yeah, I can see a bit. Actually, I can go all the way back in now, because this is all going to get finely polished by hand. Let's try that. Oh, tweezers. It's just hanging on there. Right. I'm going to crank this round. This tool does quite reasonable for facing off. So just take a cut or two here. Okay, right, chamfers. Let's get another tool out. Don't need much chamfer. Try this boring bar. It's got a useful angle there, but it may chatter. I think that'll about do. I'll do a bit of polish on that. Right, I'm going to take that out. We're basically done. Just a final hand polish out of the chuck. The only other thing I was going to make, just as a little extra. There we are. Let me zoom back a bit. So there it is. A lot of work compared with the size and everything else. Once I buff this part up and find something good to clean it with, hang on. Yeah, it needs another polish with my compound. You've got finger marks and stuff. Don't know, you can see down the bottom. Maybe. Can't tell whether the focus will hold if I get closer. Yeah, anyway, what I was going to do, I've got a small piece of scrap. And I thought I'd make a little cover cap for this, so that if the brush is left out, it'll stop crap from going in. See what I've got here. I think I've got a piece. It's a short stubby piece of 35mm. Must have had it ages, because it looks as though I hacksawed this end. It wasn't bandsaw, that's for sure. So I'm going to face that off, clean up the outside just to make it reasonable. It'll be fairly thick walled when I finish, but I say it's only a top cap. Then we've got to bore the inside to a depth of 7/8, I think. Yes, 7/8. 7/8 deep with a diameter ID of 1.070, I think, which won't be super critical. If I really went mad, of course, I could bore this and thread it and put a thread on the spigot of the pot. I'm not going that far. Obviously wasn't cut very square. It took a bit to get that cleared up. And right, see where we are here. I'm not going to bother you much with drilling that out. I'll probably come back when there's a bit of final boring. Let's just set this up here. That's about my limit. That's enough to get to something reasonable. Alright, next thing when I get to it, I'll get some drilling done and bore that out. Well, I'll drill this out 3/4. I could go up to inch, but I haven't got a particularly good drill, so it's better just to start boring really. That's come out at 752, so it's 2 thou oversized, no big problem. And I got to enlarge that to 1070, or a little bit larger. Okay, we've got a little way to go, to put it mildly. So I'm going to press on with this, and like with most of this boring, come back. We're getting close. Doesn't want to be a tight fit, otherwise it'll gall. So this is a spring cut plus a couple, or plus one. This isn't super critical. I took a very slow feed in and out, try and get a half decent finish. Right, that should be just over, but I think it may be a bit tight. No, that's good. That's just about what I want. I thought I might have been half a thou too tight. So I'll just check the depth there, make sure we got enough. What do we got there? 920. That's plenty. So I think I might just take the outside diameter down a little bit more. We've got a chamfer this, and then we'll cut it off and face and finish. Bit of chamfer. That's enough, I think. And before I take this out, I think I'm going to just give it a little bit of a polish, and then for convenience cut off with a bandsaw. I got this cut off, it was a bit too much to bother with for a parting tool. I'm just going to take the minimum off here. That seems pretty okay. I'll clean that up and get a chamfer on there, give that a little polish maybe. I've probably only got about 332 thickness there, so I didn't want to take too much off. I've got a chamfer on there now. Just did that real quick. I'm just going to polish a little bit. Right, that's pretty much done, I think, apart from a final little hand polish later. So I think we're done. Oh well, there it is, after all that fiddle. So this top cap is purely an option if it's not in use for very long. Bit of piston effect there. It will stay down eventually. Probably may not be needed actually. Pop. So I got a little bit more polishing here and there just to dress it a little bit more. Got some machining marks, which takes a bit of work to get rid of on aluminum because it's so darn soft. Anyway, there it is. If you stayed the course whilst I've been making this sucker, congratulations. Well, I think I'd already signed off on the last clip probably, but anyway, there we are. That's the end of the two-part bit on the oil pot. A little bit more polishing to do to try and improve it a little. I haven't checked it for leaks. It should be alright. Forever the optimist. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks again to Lee for the inspiration. Although he said, oh gosh, memory. Oh, I know. I think he said Pierre had shown a pot made of stainless, which gave him an idea. So I followed on anyway. We all inspire each other one way or another. Ideas are good. Learning is good. So until the next offering, bye for now. Thanks for watching.